Hey, real estate rock stars, welcome to the whole enchilada of real estate investing, the only podcast that serves up the full feast of street smart strategies to build wealth and take control of your financial future. I'm Lou Brown, and I've been in the real estate game since 1976, so I've learned how to make the whole plate worth it. Each week, I'll be dishing out creative financing hacks and proven systems that help investors build multi-million-dollar businesses. No fluff, just the good stuff, straight from the source. Ready to dig in and start making deals? Let's get to it. So hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the whole enchilada of real estate investing with Lou Brown. And today I have a winner on board, Jessie Dillon, from all the way up in Massachusetts, place that I have a near and dear affinity with. I used to work for a company decades ago out of Massachusetts, and I have a niece up there. So Jessie, tell us who you are and where you're from and all that good stuff.
Yes, so thanks for having me. I am Jessie Dillon. I'm located in central Massachusetts in a little tiny town called Hopedale. I'm born and raised in this area, and I have actually always been in the beauty industry. So I have owned my salon for since like 2018, and I've been in the beauty industry long before that as well. And I actually found real estate investing in 2021 when I started to get burnt out working in my salon. So over the last 4 years, I've gone from 0 to 50 units, soon to be 51. And I'm on the path to early retirement through real estate.
I'm loving that. I'm loving that. So you're proving a few things here. First of all, you're proving that you can get there quickly. Secondly, you're proving that you can come from no knowledge of real estate and get it done quickly. So that's another beautiful thing, and that you have some unique things that you're doing. So tell us about your portfolio. Is it single family, multifamily?
It's a little diverse. So my first couple deals were smaller and local. In 2022, I did a two family, a single family, and a two family, all in Massachusetts, or I'm sorry, one was in New Hampshire, and a mix of strategies there: long term rental, BRRRR, short term rental, house hacking, midterm renting my guest room. But in this area, it is more on the expensive side, so I was kind of tapped out. Even though I got to put down 10% or less on all those deals, that added up. So I actually shifted into buying in partnerships after that. I had the time and knowledge to keep going, but I was tapped out for capital. So I found the perfect partner, and we went and did a 13-unit value add multifamily together, long distance in Chicago. Since then, I've done the same type of deal, a 50-50 partnership with a capital partner, value add multifamily, an 8-unit, a 12-unit, and another 13-unit, all out in Chicago. And right now I'm under contract on what will be a luxury vacation rental in Florida with one of my partners from one of the multifamily deals.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is very diverse and very location eccentric, right? And I love that because that is one of the things I teach is long distance profits and long distance investing. So I love the fact that you have branched out from where you live and said, look, I can do this anywhere. I don't have to do this in my own backyard. Now, what had you come to that realization?
So once I found that first business partner who we still work together today, we have a great partnership. We were making offers on market deals for value add multifamily locally, but the only way things were penciling out and would still meet our cash flow goals were with creative offers. And for about 6 months, I was making creative offers on market deals. It was never going to work because there was always 20 people in line behind me, happy to just break even with traditional financing, which obviously is more appealing to most sellers. So we realized that, and we were like, you know what? With the amount of capital we have to use, and our cash flow goals. And considering that, we're doing 5 units and up, we will have to have a management agreement in place anyways to use a commercial loan. There's really no point in staying local when we could meet our goals easier in the Midwest. We decided, after 6 months of making offers that were not getting accepted, we decided on a Friday to pivot to Chicago, and we were under contract by Sunday night.
How about that? After beating your head against the wall with your target market, you realized, hey, we could do this anywhere. And amazing, within 2 days under contract. And that was a multifamily?
Yeah, that was the 13 unit. And that deal, we're actually looking at possibly selling or doing like a cash out refi or something soon because we have a lot of equity trapped in that deal. We paid an effective purchase price of around 1,015,000, and today it's worth just over 2 million. So we have a lot of equity in there that we feel could possibly work harder for us somewhere else. We were planning on holding for at least 5 years, but our goals are really to amplify cash flow, both of us at this point. So we might use that money and roll it into a couple luxury vacation rentals.
Wow, that sounds impressive. Definitely exciting that you were able to take a property from 1 million to 2 million. What was it that you did to cause that to happen?
So we were specifically looking for something that had really under market rents, some deferred maintenance, just a tired landlord situation, nothing that was, half vacant or more, nothing that was falling down and needed a ton of work, but just something that was maybe mismanaged. And that's exactly what the case was here. I think the rent roll when we started was like 8,000. It was either 8 or 11, and today it's around 20,000 a month.
That's beautiful. Congratulations. How
Thank you.
many of your folks did you lose in that process?
We don't have a whole lot of inherited tenants left in that building, and we didn't skyrocket to market rent. That really was never the plan. It was to just kind of slowly keep people, under market rent. Because we wanted people to stay, but I think just naturally over time, we have done a lot of heavy lift turnovers. I think like half the building was remodeled inside and half was not. We probably have just a couple inherited tenants left out of 13.
Congratulations. That's a beautiful thing, and it gave you a real proving ground on how to do this business and how to figure out and maneuver a lot of things. So that
Mhm.
gave you some runway to be able to do those other properties. How did you find those properties?
I actually took a little bit of a break. It was a year and a half in between buying that property and the next one.
Yeah.
I was planting a
Also
lot of
known as a
seeds.
learning curve.
Yeah, I was planting a lot of seeds, I was putting in the work, but just nothing was really coming together, and it did get really frustrating at some points, but then all in divine timing, everything just started falling into place. The next 3 deals I did with 3 other partners, so each deal has its a different capital partner. And I actually found the first one on LoopNet. The first 2 deals I had found on LoopNet, and then the last 2 deals were pocket listings.
Ah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, pocket listings, guys. That's when an agent knows about a property, but it's not the owners don't necessarily want to go ahead and put it out on the traditional MLS. So they just find a buyer and then they get the owner aligned with that buyer and they make a commission in between. So pocket listings are a great way to do this, and that comes from relationships with agents. So how were you able to establish those relationships?
So the very first deal out there, the 13 unit from 2023, I really liked the listing agent that we worked with on that one. I just went straight to the listing agent. And so I continued to stay in touch with them. It's Kaiser Group in Chicago. And once I was in buying mode, I would just reach out every week, like, hey, here's a reminder of what I'm looking for. I have
Uh,
2 partners that I'm looking for deals for both of these partnerships. Like, this is my buy box. Please keep me in mind. And just reaching out every week, it kept me top of mind. So then when things came in before they even were publicly listed, they would say, we have this, the marketing materials aren't even ready yet, but here's what we do have. So the last 2 deals came from that.
Wow, that is really impressive. So there's a lot of people that are opposed to markets like New York, Chicago, Seattle, different places that have some pretty stringent tenant-friendly rules,
Mhm.
tenant-friendly laws, right? That make it very easy for tenants to do the dance, so to speak, and not be able to pay rent for extended period of time. Have you had any experience in that?
I have gone through 2 evictions. One was in progress when we closed on the property. The other one's actually in progress right now. And so that was also an inherited tenant. And I think there's a couple ways to try to increase your chances of success in markets like this. One thing that I feel like has helped me is my property management company. One of the 2 owners is a real estate attorney of, like, 25 plus years, so they run the company through that lens, and I do really like that. Another is the, like, boots on the ground guys at that property management company. I feel like they really excel at managing C-class properties. I think it takes a different skill set with C-class that they have, and not many management companies that I spoke to when we first broke into that market I got that good feeling about. And also it's like properly vetting and screening tenants. And, I live in a tenant-friendly state anyways, like Massachusetts is tenant-friendly, so if I was investing in my own backyard, I'd be dealing with the same challenges.
That's true, that's true. Well, it's definitely something that's a challenge for folks that don't have the skill set, because I do say that property management is a skill, it's an acquired skill, it is not necessarily common sense. That, one of the things we developed is that not only do you have to have really great paperwork, and we've developed that over the years, and every year we update our rental agreement, but on top of that, it's profit centers. So we've developed like 25 different profit centers over and above what a typical landlord earns. And by providing these services to our clients, we're also opening the door to be able to give them service, give them a better opportunity, and make more profit on every property. So that's another thing that we can align with, because I'll give you some information about that. But it's definitely a fun thing, and, I love the fact that you said, "I interviewed different property management companies." Tell us about that process in your selection of the property management company.
Yeah, so what helped was that I have always been part of this online community called WIIRE, Women Invest in Real Estate. I actually now co-host the beginner cohort in that group. And being in that network, I had so many people that I could reach out to and say, "This is my first time ever hiring a property manager." And especially being long distance, what questions do I even ask? What do I look for? So it was really, really helpful to have community around me, people who I could ask those questions who actually had the right answers. And multiple people sent me documents with lists of questions that they use, and I kind of put them all together, and right when I got under contract on that first property, I made a list of like 30 different management companies. I reached out to all of them. I got on phone call interviews with each one, everyone who responded, that is. And what was funny was in the end, it was the very first company I spoke to who I ended up liking the most. But I was still really glad that I went through the motions and talked to a lot of people and even just on that first call, one of the owners of the company, Ron, he just gave me so much information. Like, he gave me so much free information that was gonna help me regardless of which company I ended up going with, and I feel like that also kinda sold me on working with them.
Oh, surely. That's great. Definitely when you got somebody that's gonna, have your back and give you some insight into how to navigate things. I definitely agree, because sometimes property management companies keep everything silent and hidden, and from view, and really you need to be brought in on the process, and you need to be brought in on what's happening. And you also need to be able to assuage your fears about the charges that you're seeing on the statements every month. You need to make sure that they're not taking advantage of you. So I love that you've got so are all of your properties prop professionally managed, or do you self-manage any of those?
So all of the Chicago properties have been self-managed from the beginning, but the properties that I still own locally, which is 4 units, I was self-managing them until this past New Year's, and that was kind of like my Christmas gift to myself, was passing off property management even for those. And it really was not that much work, but it just wasn't work that I enjoyed. And it wasn't in line with my ultimate vision for my real estate business. So I wanted to just relieve myself of that task so I could, clear headspace for something else, like for getting more properties.
Interesting. That's great. So what do you typically pay a property manager?
I want to say in Chicago, we pay 6.5%, might be six. I think it's six. And then the local property manager that I use, I pay five.
Wow, that's very reasonable. Plus the first
Mhm.
month's rent if they rent up the unit.
In Chicago, yes. And then in for the local units, it's a $300 turnover fee.
That's great. That's great.
Mhm.
It sounds very reasonable and definitely a great reason to go ahead and get a third party property manager. There it's a unique thing to get one that you can really rely on, because they seem to be such a variety of them out there. So another thing that you've mastered is capital raising, right? You've been able to get partners to put your deals together and been able to expand yourself so quickly. So tell us about that. How did you find these partners?
Yeah, so I've raised around 1.5 million now, and I have found my partners in a few different ways. So, one partner I found through a pretty tangible process that anyone could go do, like anyone who wants to find a capital partner. So, this was when I first started opening my mind to partnerships. I figured out exactly what I wanted a partner to bring to the table and what I was going to bring to the table and what the dynamic would be like. And I created like an avatar for this person. What kind of job might they have? Where might they live? What might their day to day life look like? What might their financial goals look like? And I made a list of 50 people who I knew well enough to text, even if it might be kind of awkward. People who I thought they probably know somebody like this. And every day for 10 days, before I did anything else, first thing in the morning, I texted 5 people from the list with just like a copy and paste message. And it was something like, "Hey, I hope you're doing well. I know we're connected on Facebook or Instagram. So you've probably seen what I've been doing with real estate. I just got back from a conference and I'm going to be pivoting into bigger projects. And I'm looking for someone who might want to get in on the real estate action in a very hands off way, someone who understands the wealth building power of real estate, but never wants to get a call from a tenant, doesn't have the time or knowledge to do it alone. If this, makes you think of anyone, will you just send them my information? Thanks so much. I hope you're doing well." So I didn't even really leave it open where they felt like they had to respond. Like they could just ignore it and it wouldn't be weird. And most of them did, and that's okay. But one person that I had texted happened to be sitting at dinner with her friend who was exactly the person I was talking about. And she was like, "That's so weird." So she introduced us. We had a couple phone calls. We met for coffee. We decided our goals really lined up and it just felt right. So that's how I met my first partner. My second partner, we met when I did a how to buy your first rental property workshop through a local chamber of commerce. She attended that. My second partner heard me on a podcast, and then we found ourselves in that same online community, WIIRE. And then my fourth partner, we met because I had sold one of my properties to someone and then started working for him. And his mom wanted to get into multifamily. So her and I connected. And she also had this friend who was interested in putting money into a deal. So that's how I met him. And him and I are now under contract on this STR venture. So I met everyone in different ways, but I had actually mapped out a process of like 15 things that I was going to do consistently, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly. And that's all the reps that I was putting in for that year and a half where I didn't buy anything. And all of the properties that have come since then came from planting all those seeds, sharing what I'm doing online, telling everyone what I'm doing, hosting these free workshops, sharing my story on podcasts, sending out my email newsletter, stuff like that.
Wow, that is so beautiful. I love it, and it proves one of the things I've been teaching for many, many years is exactly that, that you got in your phone a whole lot of people that you can connect with. You don't have to go out there in the public and find strangers and ask them that very question. Do you know someone? Do you know someone? Because often they'll say, "Well, what about me?" It's almost like an insult that you didn't ask them, So I always do that because I don't wanna put them on the spot, and
Mhm.
so it's like, "Do you know someone?" And it just works out so beautifully. Guys, absolutely, positively, Jessie has given you a great guideline on exactly how you can raise a ton of money doing exactly what she said, so appreciate that share for sure. So you've been able to find properties, raise money, find property management. You've done so well. What are your plans for the future?
I feel like now my portfolio is very heavy on delayed gratification. It's very heavy with value add. And those projects are going to take, most of them a couple more years to really pay off. So now I'm pivoting into projects that are going to be more instant gratification. So vacation rentals that will do at least 5,000 a month split between the two partners. I'd love to do a couple of those. I have this first one under contract. And I also am halfway through the course to get my real estate license, which I had been putting off, but I want to do another house hack next summer. And I was like, I could really offset a lot of my down payment if I got my real estate license. So I'm halfway through the course and I was nervous because it's just been a long time since I've done any kind of schooling, but um, it's going well so far, and I also lastly, I'm looking for my first flip right now locally as well.
Wow, that is so fantastic. So you definitely have plans.
Mhm,
Uh, and, it's a great thing because we work with a lot of real estate agents in our world that become certified affordable housing providers because of the fact that they want to offer the path to home ownership in their local market or wherever they want to, anywhere in the country. And it's a kind of a funny thing because what real estate agents often find is people that cannot qualify for traditional loans. And so they put them into our Path to Home Ownership program, and where we help deserving families end up with home ownership regardless of credit or financial background. So business owners that the bank doesn't love, people with large down payments from the sale of another property that the bank doesn't love, we're able to do a lot of business on that. So definitely another thing that you can add to your repertoire. And I love that you're going down that road to learn more, but also the possibility of being able to pick up some commissions along the way as well. Makes a
mhm.
lot of sense. So, when do you have time to do your hair salon?
That's a great question. I feel like my time is pretty evenly split. Lately, I think it's a little more spent in real estate because of the class, but I usually take clients like 3 half days a week and then 1 Saturday a month. And then I just kind of fit all of my real estate office work in between all that. So I'm busy, but I do have the help of two really incredible VAs. One of them's been with me since 2018. She's amazing. She's really more like an executive assistant, but across the country. And that makes it a lot easier.
I love that. I love that. Do you have a family yet?
I do, yes. I have a daughter. She's 17. She is in her senior year of high school. So I'm also kind of mentally preparing for all the change that's ahead for us over the next year and trying to make sure, my businesses will slow down enough that I can really be present for that.
Oh my gosh. You're about to find out one of the most amazing things in life, and it's called empty nesting.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, I've
wonderful
heard a
thing.
lot about it. I'm interested to see how it feels.
You're gonna love it. I'm just telling you. But, yeah, it's been a fun journey and definitely something when you get an opportunity to raise children, oh my goodness, you learn a lot about yourself and about, what life looks like. So
Mhm.
congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
And, on the amazing journey that you have had here in real estate. Now, for someone that's just getting started and they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go, what would your advice be for someone that's just getting started?
Oh, I have a couple good tidbits of advice. One would be to only take advice from people who are doing what you wanna be doing. I think there are, especially at the beginning of your journey, I think everyone's a naysayer. Everyone has a story about how being a landlord burned someone that they know, and, you really have to just block all that out. And then my other piece of advice would be to not feel like you're being productive when you're consuming content. Listening to podcasts, reading books, you do have to do all that. You have to learn, but it's not actually getting you closer. I think a lot of people feel like they're getting closer to actually buying their first property when they're listening to podcasts and reading the books. But if you're not signing offers, you're probably just avoiding the scary work that has to happen to get you from here to there.
Amen, amen. Jump in the deep end of the pool, right? Go ahead and stir the pot, cause things to happen, get something under contract, but definitely be in a position to get some advice because you don't wanna go this alone. I really strongly recommend that people get education and get
Mhm.
support because without that, you really can make the wrong move at the wrong time and buy the wrong thing in the wrong neighborhood and all of a sudden end up with not what you planned. Let's just
Mhm.
put it that way. And definitely there's opportunities out there each and every day. I say that the market changes each and every day, guys. So get out there, go cause things to happen. Definitely here in support and of support. And Jesse, what can we do to help you?
Oh, I've never been asked that question or something like that. I don't know. That's a great question. I think if anyone listening wants to just keep up with my journey, you can join my email newsletter through the link in my bio on Instagram. That's like an easy, simple, quick way to help me.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much. You were an awesome guest and gave us a tremendous amount of information. Definitely want to support you in your journey and encourage you, blow wind in your sails and say, yeah, baby, this is an awesome ride and keep up the great work and cause things to happen in your world as well. So thanks again for joining us and being part of the whole enchilada of real estate investing with Lou Brown, and see you guys soon. Yeah, baby. Thanks for tuning in to the whole enchilada of real estate investing. I hope you're feeling ready to take your investing game to the next level. If you're serious about building wealth, you won't want to miss the Millionaire Jumpstart. It's a 3-day live event that's perfect for any level of investor. Whether you're just getting started or you're looking to scale, this can be one of the final steps of making real wealth happen. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now at millionairejumpstart.com and get ready to make big moves in your real estate journey. I'm Lou Brown. Until next time, keep hustling, and remember, it's not about how much you make, it's about how smart you play the game.